Heading down to River Lot 11 for this project, I was skeptical as to how much success I would have in interpreting the Cree syllabics at this site. A large colorful sculpture of Cree text embedded in the side of the hill, however, immediately caught my attention, and I attempted to use the context of my environment, along with the limited background knowledge I had, to make a prediction as to what the text said. Going off of the structure of the first character there, I noticed it looks kind of like maybe a teepee or some other house-like structure, and just given the context of where we are, I'm going to say that this text is maybe an acknowledgement that this land is home to the indigenous people. It quickly became apparent, however, that deciphering the true meaning of this text wasn't going to be as simple as throwing the image into Google Translate, as the platform didn't seem to support this language. I was curious if a large language model such as ChatGPT would be able to decipher these syllabics, and despite the bot's initial enthusiasm to help me out, I was thoroughly unconvinced by the response I received. Eventually, I stumbled upon a website, creedictionary.com, which gave me the option to type out the syllabics and receive an English translation. And after a bit of time spent matching up what I saw in front of me to the characters on the website, I was able to get a result I felt much more confident with. This experience really got me thinking about Adorno and Horkheimer's critiques of the culture industry, in that art produced to maximize profits can really result in the alienation of minority groups, as individuality and imagination is removed from the equation in favor of delivering a familiar product to the largest audience. Especially in the age of the internet, English has essentially become the language that you produce content in. And I guess the way technology is developed mirrors art in this sense, creating an endless cycle that makes not only producing, but now also enjoying art in Cree and other minority languages somewhat burdensome. In my opinion, I think that this signals that we still have a long ways to go in the journey to becoming post-human. Can we really consider ourselves embodied and embedded in information and each other, as Catherine Hale suggests, when so much of popular culture insists on standardizing the means through which we tell our stories? In my dystopian research text Severance, I was unable to find references to the existence of any non-English languages throughout this first season of the show. And I think this was an intentional decision by the producers to reflect a dystopian future which values conformity as opposed to individualism. Just look at the opening scene of episode 1 when Kelly arrives on the severed floor and is applauded for receiving a quote perfect score when she fails to recall any details about her personal life, such as where she was born and even the color of her mother's eyes. Ultimately, I think that this, along with the prevalence of the culture industry, shows how technology has the potential to be used as a means of alienation and a tool to enforce conformity. However, I'm optimistic that it can also be used as a tool to preserve minority languages if it's developed intentionally for this purpose. If we consider Hale's view of post-humanism as one that embraces individuality and the interconnectedness of humans across cultures, as opposed to one that attempts to eliminate these differences, I believe that we can come a long way in preserving and valuing the culture of our neighbors with assistance of translation technology as a tool that unites us.